Hello and welcome to Cadenza. Ever hear the phrase, he's going through a phase? I feel that's kind of how my songwriting works. I go through phases, but the lines between the phases can be murky, and I don't think they end so much as they ebb and flow into each other with a solid chance of returning one day if you happen to start mining the psychological territory you worked in before. It's strange. There are career phases where you can see growth in the work of both style and complexity. There are emotional phases where thematically the music developed trends with being happy or sad or in love or whatever. There are phases where things are very complex and technical, and then there are back to the basic phases where you revisit your roots or someone else's roots and you strip back everything to the bones. I see Cadenza as that kind of presentation. It's a stripped back exploration of how my songwriting developed and how I perceived the work of others who kind of established the early foundation of popular music, or music that was popular. Today's song comes from a mix of several phases based on what I can figure. While I write all the time, I have to establish a more formal process if I ever want to finish anything. For instance, I might have a bit of a song that needs work, but while I'm thinking about that, I might get sidetracked by another song or song chunk that captures my attention, and then off I go. Then, as I said, it goes on and on. So when I talk about phases, at this time in the 2007-2008 time period, I pulled together a number of started tunes that I was focused on finishing. I generally do this when I want to put together a collection of demos or clear the decks of stuff that I've been looking at for a while or whatever. Because my time to work on these projects was often limited, I had to be ready to jump in and go when life gave me an opening and the equipment was ready and everything was set up so I could just jump in and go. Were that it ever worked out that way. I keep pretty busy. Thematically, this was a time when I was writing about relationships and breakups and getting back together and all that. Who knows what triggers what? It's probably a culmination of stuff I experienced during the day which melds together in my mind and then presents itself as a song. Probably kind of like how dreams work. So this came from a theme phase. It also came from a phase or a time when I had a certain recording set up technically and a plan to work on a particular song grouping at this time. I try not to chase gear. I try to do the most I can with the gear I have because I find if I wait to get that certain microphone or that certain guitar or that certain mixer or that certain whatever, I would do nothing but chase gear. I do the same thing with my photography and video gear. I think I'm more pragmatic because on top of time and the want of certain pieces of equipment, I rarely have extra cash to go spend buying more stuff. I always work for a better, cleaner sound. I'm constantly tinkering with my setup. I move things around, I reset cables, and so on. But even though I value and have great appreciation for the tens of listeners or watchers I have, I can't support many grand equipment purchases. So here we are, decent enough stuff, doing good work the best way we know how. I share that because I think whatever setup you have can affect the music you create and the songs you write. It can because you need to work within your limitations. You can press those limitations, but then you run the risk of getting crappy recordings, and that can have an effect on how you perceive the song or the sound, and it can waste your time. It has been interesting to play the songs in this series simply and freely. It allows me to hear them in different ways. I notice different things I didn't notice before, and so on. I also try to resist the urge to tinker with the songs themselves or rewrite them. I'm pretty good at the notion of re-recording them or playing them in different ways, but I try not to adjust the song itself. They were deemed finished at the time they were created and present a certain step in my writing world, my technical development, and my musical journey. They are what they are. I suppose if there was something off that I never liked, I might adjust something, but for the most part, no. So today we explore 2008 and the notion of being with someone where a growing distance seems to be working its way into the relationship, but in a happy, upbeat manner. Kind of. Here is Where Did You Go? I can't see your face anymore in my mind, and it's a crime, wouldn't you say? there. But what does that mean? Funny thing about it, you're still around. But when you're not beside me, you can't be found. I don't understand it now. Where did you go? I want you to know you used to be there. Funny thing about it, you're still around. But when you're not beside me, you can't be found, you can't be found. I just can't recall the thrill of your touch. It once meant so much, or so I believed. You used to sense an emptiness when you weren't here. It all felt so real, but it went away. Funny thing about it, you're still around. But when you're not beside me, you can't be found. I don't know what happened, there used to be us. Now it's a bust. You used to be there. I want you to know you used to be there. I want you to know you used to be there. Until next time, play freely.